Testing 1, 2, 3. Check, check. Goal!
Where?
Goal! Today's match is brought to you by AE Engine, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Cliff Kids, Dick's Sporting Goods, Expand a Brand, Nesquik, Fusionetics, MLS, Nike Soccer, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, Soccer Shots, Sun-Made Raisins, Target, Turbo Sports Group, United Soccer Coaches, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career, to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups, that kind of emulate the McGuire Cup.
Winning the McGuire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period. That's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied McGuire Cup?
forget last year. It's gone. Ancient history. It's time to forget about failure and how you came up short, how you missed the mark. Yeah, it's time to forget about the man you should have marked, the run you should have made. Remember that shot you should have taken? Time to let it all go. Forget about it. It's time to go to work.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Frisco, Texas, site of the 2018 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. Today's game is brought to you by Turbo Sports Group, and I'm Todd Panula here to bring you all of this morning's exciting 14 and under boys semifinal action between Nationals Union and Sporting Kansas City Academy. We start things off with Nationals Union in control right off the kickoff as they look to send it around. These two teams have met before and had a chance to discuss a couple things through email with Coach Granthik Chatterjee. And he said it's going to be a very difficult game to beat the same team twice after they won the regional final 4-1 over this very same Sporting Blue Valley team. But he knows that they're going to have the mental motivation to try to come back into this one and the revenge factor. And he knows that both teams know each other very well, having just played each other a short time ago. So both coaching staffs are going to be well prepared for this one. Your starting goalkeepers for today. For Nationals Union, it is Evan Lindsley. And for Sporting Kansas City Academy, it is Jess Rosenthal. So SKC start off with their first bit of good possession, trying to lob one over the top. Defender dealt with it, comes back through the midfield. Settled down by Craig, looking up top. Nationals Union send it here to the near side. Hong up the line. Now a good run being made by Ursiti. Ursiti trying to cut back towards the end line. Pushed it out just a little bit too far. And he will earn himself a corner kick, first of the game. Jake Ursiti, one of the better scorers for this Nationals Union squad. He had 3 goals in the regionals. Has yet to really get his goal-scoring form rounded out here in the national tournament, but doing a good job to force the defenders into a rough position and force the corner kick. Nationals Union will take a left footer, putting it towards goal, but a little too much hooking on that one, and we'll have a goal kick. Nationals Union wearing their whites with the blue trunks, countered by the dark blues of SKC. Sporting out of Kansas City, coached by Declan Yogi, countered by Nationals Union, hailing from Pontiac, Michigan, coached by the aforementioned Granthik Chatterjee. Sporting continues to build from the back as they send a long ball through that's intercepted, intended for Visconti. Sporting regains over on the far side, but quickly dispossessed. The crossing feed ends up for Barayak. Lobbing one over the top, intended for her city, but the Sporting defense able to handle it. Brought down by Visconti. The counterattack on. And a foul given. Anthony Hong did a good job to chase that one down, but then got just a bit too much of the player in the process. Want to welcome all of you in this morning. Hopefully you're having a good Saturday so far, despite the earliness of the hour. Not too bad for everybody watching in terms of locations, mostly in the Midwest. Now Ursiti with a chance, goes far post, he scores! Jake Ursiti puts Nationals Union up by 1. Not even 5 minutes in. So a solid start now for Nationals Union as they claim the early goal, putting Sporting on their back heels. Trying to spring a quick counterattack. So we get a few stray raindrops coming down. Not too much in the way of clouds, so it should just be a passing little drizzle. See the ball in here, just crossing the 18-yard box. Ursiti lets it run on and then just slots it into the back post. Just very calm, cool, collected right there and tucking it in. Very little chance for Jess Rosenthal to get down to that one. He would have had to have come off and severely cut off the angle, but he was kind of caught in between decisions. Not really too much chance once he stood his ground. On here to the near wing now for Sporting is Isaka. Kipruto lost possession. Now it's with Sharp for Nationals Union as he sends it across. Laced up the field by Simon. That's too direct. Blasted up the pitch. Kipruto was making the run. Isaka was there as well, but the defender stepped up. In the midfield, Craig. Visconti over towards the far wing. And again, Nationals Union spotting these passes from Sporting very early. Laid back by Miller. Sartino with the interception, but then gives it right back. Asking questions again, but the flag goes up. Their City trying to time the run to perfection. Got in just a little too quick. But that's what strikers do. They live in that back pocket of the final defender, and sometimes you're going to take off just a little too early. Sporting defenders, especially those central ones, going to have to be careful the rest of this half as we get an offside call returned. Sporting Kansas City's Dalton Visconti was in just a step too early. But here's her City again. Already with a goal to his name, trying to chase that one down, does so, but ends up knocking it out over the sideline instead of the end line. As I mentioned, these two teams have played each other before. Nationals Union won the Midwest Regionals, defeating Sporting by a score of 4-1. Nationals Union topped Group B with a rare record of 1-0-2, so the two draws saw them still finish top their group. Plotted up the field by Caputo. That was intercepted. Second chance, the same thing. Couldn't be brought down by Lucas. Lucas gets it back. And again, Nationals Union with a player right in the way. Good energy here in the early going from both teams. The Nationals have had the better of the attacking presence. That's just a bit too far on the far side for Brevin Cole. Sporting going to look to Dalton Visconti to try to lead them back in this one. He leads the team with 2 goals. They try to find him, but the ball too direct. Probably would have been behind him as well, as he was cutting more towards the left. Coach Chatterjee telling Anthony Hong to pass to the space, not to the man. Sporting trying to build something as they come up from the back, all the way back to their goalkeeper. Very pleasant morning here in the suburbs of Dallas. It's been really hot throughout this tournament, and we saw that on display quite a bit, especially on day 3 of 3 straight days of 100-degree heat. It really started to take its toll on some of these players. Not necessarily with these teams, but other teams in the tournament saw a lot of players getting sick. And I don't think it's even necessarily that the heat of that day was affecting them, because there was even some morning games where there was some sickness going around. And I think it's just trying to get so much liquids in you, trying to battle the heat, and it just ends up catching up to you, and your body can only withstand so much. Possession traded back and forth in the midfield a couple of times. Sporting with it now. Sartino looks upfield. Pass through the middle. Went awry. Intercepted by Ludwig as he sends it up to Urcidi. Over here towards the near side, but it went too direct for Hong to run onto. Sartino. Calling out directions, but then the ball came too quickly. It was intended for Cole, but it filtered all the way back. Lindsley with his first touches with his feet. As a goalkeeper, that's not necessarily the way you would like to get your first touches, but seeing the ball sometimes can help more than anything. Barnett, his pass intended again for Visconti, as that's been the focal point of the Sporting offense, trying to get it up to Visconti, let him hold it up, and let some of their speedy wingers run on through. But they have been unable to really find Visconti with any regularity. Hong lays it into her city again, trying to put it on the right foot, goes down. The referee having none of it. Almost give it away. It's going to ground was Barnett. Near side for Caputo. Trying the one-touch pass. Right now, I think Sporting needs to just kind of take a breath and realize that they have plenty of game left in this one, as we're going to get an early substitution for Nationals Union. 2 substitutions make it. Checking in is Braxton Arpraknida. And coming in at the next opportune time will be Devin Hernandez. Far wing now, trying for Cole, made the dummy run, but now he can't catch up to it along the sideline. Hernandez will come in at the next opportune time. Thirteenth minute of play, 1-0 your score in favor of Nationals Union on a 5th minute goal from Jake Orsidi. Hernandez now enters the game as he's actually the team's leading goal scorer with 4 goals in this national tournament, to go along with 7 goals in the National League, which put him at 3rd in that category. So a lot of good quality scorers here for Nationals Union, and that's the reason why Hernandez comes off the bench in this game, because they have so many capable of putting him in the back of the net. Anthony Hong also more than capable of scoring with 3 goals in the regional finals as well, or I should say regional tournament. This one laced through, but Orsidi wasn't going to be able to catch up to that one. 3 more subs coming in now for Nationals Union as they want to keep their legs fresh for the second half. So coming in is Ryan Bovey, Ryan Gruka, and Zach Hoyumpa. Richard Ludwig, Anthony Hong, and Mateo Phillips, the players coming off. Sporting yet to make a substitution, but as I say that, they have a player walking up towards midfield. Long ball again intended for Visconti, but the defenders spotting it well. The back 3 has not been tested too often here for Nationals Union, but when they have, they've spotted those passes early and stepped in the lanes. Into touch along the near sideline. Nationals with the throw. Sporting will make a sub. Salat Mukoma will come into the game. He's going to replace Brevin Cole. Sharp brings it down, sends one towards the top of the 18. Nobody there except for the dark blue. On the left foot to Miller. Has to put it towards the sideline. Good cross towards the back post. Difficult to deal with. They score! I don't think that was necessarily intended to be a shot, but it worked nevertheless. All the way from the left sideline, scoring just after being put into the game is Zachary Hoyumpa. As you see it here, sends the ball in across, and it had just the right amount of height on it to get it over the goalkeeper, Rosenthal. Again, very difficult to deal with that, especially when you're not expecting it to be a shot. Trying to get the footwork right, backing up, and making a decision when to make that jump. All difficult decisions for the goalkeeper, and Rosenthal couldn't do too much about it. So Sporting really on their heels now, down by 2 goals. Looking for more as they slot one through to Hernandez, but this one's touched all the way back to Rosenthal. So a 5th-minute goal by Jake Ursidi, and then Zachary Hoyumpa in the 17th minute, doubling up the lead. Sporting need to find their way into this one rather quickly now. Though credit goes to Nationals Union for playing really good defense, Sporting KC has not really shown a whole lot of urgency. Kept in alive by Bovey, sending one up top to City, and that forces the defender to just play it into touch. Ursidi met with a strong tackle right inside the box, and Ursidi whistled for the foul as he bowled over the defender. Couple players about to check back in for Nationals Union. Dancing around over on the far sideline is Mukoma. Slotted through the midfield to the left back, Isaka. Again, going for Visconti, but there's just too many defenders around, and you almost wonder, you can't do it this early in the game by any stretch of the imagination, but if this continues for Sporting, you almost have to wonder if they're going to have to change their formation a little bit to get more players into the attack, because right now, playing what is essentially just the lone player up top in Visconti is not really helping out, because he's basically surrounded by the 2 center backs at all times, with the wing backs coming in to help if they need, and then the wingers for Sporting have just been slightly a step too slow in coming in to help, but oftentimes the pass isn't necessarily even going through to begin with because the defenders are spotting it well. It's easy for 2 or 3 players to defend one, whereas if you push a few more players into the attack and not necessarily continually go for the ball into the striker to hold it up and let players run on, then perhaps you might open a little bit more space. But now Sporting with a little bit of attacking area, trying to find some individual magic here. They lay it back onto the foot of Craig. He has to continue it on, but this is the furthest forward that Sporting has been able to go so far. Working up the right-hand side, but again, good defending. Coming all the way back from his own wing position is Devin Hernandez. Ball back into play, so the substitutes will have to wait another moment. Played into touch again by Nolan Miller. So we'll have a trio of substitutes now for Nationals Union. Coming into the game again is Richard Ludwig and Anthony Hong as they re-enter. Also back into the game is Aiden Bariak. CD, Miller, and Arpaknida. Flag was up, offside the call. Through the midfield, running on for it was Bovey. That Sporting getting to it first, and again that ball up towards the forward line, just not quite there yet. Brilliantly slotted ball through over on the far sideline. Running onto it is Hong as he's taken up on the left wing now. Hong keeping it alive still. Confident goalkeeping though from Rosenthal as he came out. Sartino sends it up through the midfield. Finally a bit of possession for Visconti. The defender goes down around him. And now we'll have a stoppage as they're actually going to call the foul on Sporting. Bit of a late whistle there if the foul was against the attacking player. Lofted up towards the penalty spot on the free kick. Loose along the top of the box. Waving at it was Gruka. Missed on the volley. Bovey back for Beriak. Instead handled by Caprudon. Give it away again in the midfield. Gruka. Ludwig. Laying one over the top. Hong running onto it. Bit too much pace on it though, and it'll go over the end line. 24th minute of play. 2-0 your score in favor of Nationals Union. They have now scored 6 goals in 2 games against Sporting. Only allowed the 1 so far, but Sporting hoping that they can find a way back into this one. Hernandez trying to chase it off. Defender actually kept it in himself. Sharp. He's going to take a shot off the crossbar. Hong in possession. Drops it back for Hoyumpa. He's already got a goal for himself. He'll gain himself a corner kick as that went off the defender. Into the game now for Nationals Union will be Jai Kozar-Lewis. Bovey skies that one over the goal. So now Kozar-Lewis will enter the game. He's going to replace Bovey. Apparently the goal kick was mistaken, so they'll do it again. They go short with it this time. Barnett, crossfield. Sartino looks to get it up to Visconti. And again, those direct balls just not really there. Almost intercepted in the midfield. Laced up by Gruca. Hernandez trying to run onto it. Barnett hoping it would go out, but it does not. Isaka tiptoeing along the line off the defender, and they will actually call the foul. Into touch over along the far sideline, so more subs coming in for Nationals Union as they like to roll them out there, keep everybody fresh. There's CD, Phillips, and Miller all back in. Numbers pushing forward for Nationals Union again, trying to slide one through to the city, and that one has just labeled towards the corner flag a little too much. Not often that you can say that. Normally the passes have been too direct throughout this tournament, regardless of age group, regardless of team. It's probably the first time that I've actually said that that was cut too much towards the sideline. Here's Visconti, having to come all the way back towards the center circle, and then he was intending that one. The whistle goes. Player down here on the near sideline for Nationals Union, and there was a little bit of protest from Coach Chatterjee as he thought that City probably could have been given the advantage, but I think the official was more worried about the player's safety as checking into the game is Braxton Aprakinda. Aprakinda is in. Aprakinda is in. And still trying to get a visual on who is out. That looks like Mateo Phillips, who's really favoring his right leg. Jeremy Sharp's going to take the free kick once we get things started again. And hopefully Phillips will be all right. But he is definitely not putting much weight on that right foot, holding the shin. So one would hope that it's not a knee problem. And I misspoke, it was Anthony Hong. So Anthony Hong, the injured player, replaced by Braxton Arpaknida. Subs in now for Sporting. Oscar Laorden comes in, as well as Gage Daniels. Here's Laorden. Visconti's now on the wing as they have changed up their forward formation just a little bit. Brought down by City. A chance now for Simon. Lost control at the last moment. Regains, sort of. It's a battle over there as both players had legs tied up. It does end up being a free kick for Sporting. 33rd minute of play here. Trying to lace one over the top to City, but again, Nationals starting to find their long balls, not finding the spots as well, so this game has kind of settled in a little bit. The early attack, which had worked so well for Nationals Union, has dissipated just a little bit. Sporting finally settling into the game a little bit, needing to find more possession though. Near side for Isaka. Isaka takes it into a more central area. Plods one through, and again, just too direct. Flag goes up, offside. Aiden Beriak. Back into the game now is Zachary Hoyumpa. He'll take out Mateo Phillips. So the trainer seeing to Anthony Hong. Try to get you word as to his status later on. They do have the ice bag out, and his shoe is off. So not necessarily the best of signs as Visconti has it for Sporting. Tried to leave it through. Mukoma couldn't find possession inside the box. Off the other way, Mukoma able to poke it loose. Return pass, again, not quite there. Laid through, nice ball for City, but spotting it early was Rosenthal, and he came out of the box to blast it away. City ends up in possession nevertheless. Coming here to the right. Arpakinda.
Keep going, Braxton. Hunt him. Jeremy, back up a wee bit. Right, Aiden. Sir.
So another dangerous free kick coming up here for Nationals Union. As you saw right there, it's going to be just outside of the box. Almost right on top of the circle. Three minutes of stoppage time added onto this one, if I could see the board correctly, which is never a sure thing. Two players standing over the ball. Pakinda and Ludwig. Who's going to take it? Ludwig with the shot off the crossbar again. That is at least two, maybe even three bars that National Union have hit now. Sporting trying to find a counterattack. Here's Mukoma. Not too much space in front because there's a lot of white back. Mukoma trying to do it all himself and dispossessed. Not bailed out with a whistle as he looked to the official ever so briefly into touch along the far sideline. First minute of stoppage time is gone as we see that shot one more time. Just going around the wall. You have to wonder how well the wall was set up because that one seemed, it was a well-taken shot. Take no credit away from that, but to get around on that angle and still have that much goal to shoot at, it seemed like the wall didn't necessarily do its job. Arpakinda Looking for City, and again, just a little too far. Another National Union player injured. So Ludwig will be subbed out. Back into the game is Gruka. Also Bovey as well.
Hey, we got to squeeze this and win this here. Step up a level, Proby. You got to take the thrower away, Boves. The thrower. Make sure the thrower doesn't get it back. We'll do everything else. Gruka, in here, tighten up. Good, Aiden!
So Hong getting taped up. Doesn't seem to be in too much discomfort, so perhaps in the second half he might be able to return. That's just speculation on my part. Haven't been given any indication one way or the other. Just about the full 3 minutes of stoppage time played here, as we'll have a corner kick. One would figure once it's put into play and then the play resolved, that would have to do it for the half. That was dangerous as well. Just over the bar, not too much. So there is the whistle, halftime here. 2-0 your score. Nationals Union in control of this one. They scored almost right off the kick. 5 minutes in, Jaker City with the goal to put them up 1-0. And then a 17th minute goal by Zach Hoyumpa has put this one to a 2-goal advantage. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have your second half of action between Nationals Union and Sporting Academy. Back with more after this. Today's match is brought to you by AE Engine, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Cliff Kids, Dick's Sporting Goods, Expand a Brand, Nesquik, Fusionetics, MLS, Nike Soccer, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, Soccer Shots, Sun-Made Raisins, Target, Turbo Sports Group, United Soccer Coaches, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups that kind of emulate the McGuire Cup.
Winning the McGuire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period, that's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied McGuire Cup?
Forget last year. It's gone. Ancient history. It's time to forget about failure and how you came up short, how you missed the mark. Yeah, it's time to forget about the man you should have marked, the run you should have made. Remember that shot you should have taken? Time to let it all go. Forget about it. It's time to go to work. It's time.
Intensity of good pressure. And
Welcome back to Frisco. Todd Panula along with you in this Turbo Sports Group production of the 2018 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. Sporting Union versus Sporting Academy. The 14 and under semifinals. We've had a goalkeeping change for Sporting as Misael Mena has been put in. Jess Rosenthal will be wearing 19 should he be put into the game. He is not as of yet, but right now it's going to be Nationals Union in possession. Talked a bit about Nationals Union and how they got here with their first position in Group B with a record of 1-0-2, 5 goals, 2 goals allowed. Coming up is second in Group A was Sporting, as they went 2-1-0 in their group stages, but they scored 3 and allowed 5. In their lone loss to Real Jersey FC. They lost 4-0. So it's always interesting to see how these group stages end up coming up so much differently. All it took was a win and 2 draws for Nationals Union to get top spot, whereas 2 wins and a loss was enough to put Sporting in second place. Sporting defeated USAMP by the score of 1-0. As here's Nationals Union trying to get back onto the attack. Our city is dispossessed. Sporting also won, or lost, excuse me, 2-1 over New Mexico Rush. And then that decision against Real Jersey FC as well. Counter that with Nationals Union going 3-0 over ECFC. 1-1 against VHSC and 1-1 against KSA. So the winner today is going to play either Real Jersey FC or El Camino FC. We'll try to get an update for you on that game. Sporting trying to push forward. Eventually, you're going to have to start throwing caution to the wind, and we've already seen how well Nationals Union can go on the counterattack. So Anthony Hong, unfortunately, to give you an update, is being carted off over towards the medical tent, and he had ice around his lower shin. So unfortunately, his day today is most likely done. If the scoreline remains the same, hopefully he can recuperate in time to take part in the final. But the day is not yet over, and Sporting still hoping to have something to say about that as to whether he even gets the opportunity. Barnett looking upfield, trying to find a space. Lucas just kind of sent it back. Here's Mena with his first touch on the ball. Lobbing one over the top. Barnett able to deal with it. Coming over here towards the near side. Right along the end line. Doing a good job to hold it in. But again, just not too much in the way of space as Sporting not able to find a whole lot of open areas. Good job by Ursity to jump up and get in front of that one. Arpakinda is back in. He replaces Hernandez. Player goes down. That was Barnett drawing the foul. Baker in control. Finally a bit of space now for Sartino here on the right. Quickly closed down. And a well-timed tackle there from Shane Simon. It does go into touch. But that'll allow Union Nationals, or Nationals Union, I should say, to get back in defense. So finally they play it out. They'll see to the player here on the near sideline. That's Baker. So the injury must have been due to how Baker landed, because the referee was pretty much correct in that in not calling the foul. But again, that's been probably the only disappointing thing for both sides within this game is we've had a lot of injuries early on here. Two players have gone out. Hong's day is done. Didn't get necessarily a look to see if Ludwig would be able to return or not. And now we get Baker down for Sporting. And the field has been in good condition overall, but you have to wonder if perhaps the early morning effect might have cost Baker right there, because it seemed to be if they're checking on his ankle, that would indicate something to where the ground gave way just enough and then his ankle stuck after that. But he's putting a decent amount of weight on it, so as long as it doesn't have any swelling or discomfort, we should be able to see him later on in this one. Time will tell. Oscar LaOrton comes in relief of Baker. So here's Visconti, who's been forced into a defensive wing role. So Coach Yogi trying to find some sort of formation here that's going to work. Arpakinda taken down, draws the free kick. A lot of winning going on this year for Nationals Union as they won the Michigan State Cup, also the Midwest Regional, as well as the National League blue. And defensively, they're very hard to score against, as we've seen throughout this game, despite the fact that we've only played just a little over a half. Arpakinda here on the left. Pick it up in towards the 18-yard box. Draws himself a corner. Back to the point. Nationals Union had shutouts in 5 of their 6 wins in the National League. But Sporting, no slouches themselves. State champions in 2 of the last 3 years. They couldn't pick up that victory in the state championship this year. But they still managed to get through here to the Nationals. But they're really behind the 8 ball here. Is coming out to claim that one is Mena. Brought down by Mukompo. Isaka up the left. Ursidy is right on him. Isaka goes down, draws the foul. Quickly back in, so we will not have a chance to get Nationals Union sub in. Mukoma. Isaka. Space just not easy to come by right now for Sporting, and the frustration starting to grow. Sartino here on the near wing wanted the pass to come across his way. So again, Visconti, who started off as the lone striker, has now been pushed into a wingback role. Now flag stays down. Ursidy's going to get to it first. Puts it on the right foot. Chips the goalkeeper. He scores! 3-0. Nationals Union. So the brace for Jake Ursidy. He's got 2 goals here today after being relatively quiet. Elsewhere in this tournament, his teammate Devin Hernandez has done most of the scoring for Nationals Union, coming in with 4 goals, but now Ursidy's got himself on the board twice just within this game. He's going to be subbed off. Hernandez will come back in, as well as Kozar Lewis. So looking more and more like a Nationals Union victory. Sporting yet to really build anything on the offensive side of things. They're really going to have to start pushing forward now, which could open up even more channels for counterattacks. Here on the near wing, it's Cole, who just came in himself. He replaced Sartino. Not in terms of an actual substitute, but in terms of position, as Sartino is pushed further up the field. Here is Sartino laying one in for Mukoma. Dispossessed right at the edge of the 18, but he regains. But look at how many white jerseys are all around. There's only 2 and 3 Sporting players surrounded by 4 or 5 defenders at a time. Barnett to the far side for Isaka. Calling for it is Caputo. The pass wasn't quite there. Instead went to Gage Daniels. Into touch along the far sideline. Back for Nationals Union. Ryan Gruka will come back into the game. Gruka is in, Miller's out. Into touch on the far sideline again. And if you're Coach Yogi, not too much you can do about the score line. The best that they can do right now is to just try to be encouraging, try to have some sort of positive frame of mind, because Sporting's body language starting to really kind of reflect the way that this game has gone, and it would be extremely difficult. We haven't necessarily seen it a whole bunch, especially with these two teams, but not impossible to come back down from 3-0, but given the fact that they have yet to really kind of build anything that would look like a challenging attack towards goal, that is probably what makes things the most difficult, not necessarily the scoreline in and of itself. There is Ludwig as he's back into the game, trying to chase this one down. A chance here for Isaka, lays it off to the left for Kipruto. That one goes out, and it'll be a corner. So perhaps from the set piece, Sporting can answer. A decent ball right in towards the middle. Players diving left and right. And the referee spotted something. The free kick's going to be coming out. Too hot to handle for Arpakinda. One touch passing through the midfield. All the way back to the goalkeeper. Laid back, Barnett with a chance to go forward. Over towards the left. Sporting trying to find anything positive on the offensive end as Daniels saw that one blasted away. Arpakinda all the way back up towards the midfield, headed up by Visconti. Sharp. Visconti. Settled down by Mukoma. Good sliding challenge, steals it away again. Pushing forward. Tied up just a bit with the hand around the waist, and drawing the foul was Ryan Decker. Subs coming back in now for Nationals Union. It's going to be Jake Ursity. As well as Mateo Phillips. Into the box for City. Only denied by a sliding challenge, otherwise he would have had a chance at his third goal. Back into the game now is Miller and Hernandez. As Coach Chatterjee trying to set something up, trying to get a fourth goal here. Towards the mid post, hard to handle from Isaka. Towards the end of the 6, Hernandez got the head on it. Couldn't really direct it with too much power, though. Defenders stepping in front. They get it out, at least for the moment. Goes all the way back for Decker. To the right wing. Just a bit too far out of the reach. Trying up the right. Cole heads it along. And again, possession just difficult to keep right now for Sporting. Chopped down by Van de Venner. Trying for Arpakinda up the sideline, keeping it in right at the line. Looking for City just a bit too tall. They also had a player over on the far side, but didn't get that far. In now for Hernandez, score! 5th goal of the tournament for Devin Hernandez. Makes it 4-0 in the 56th minute. You see right there, just tucking it past the goalkeeper. No chance for Mena. He came out to cut off the angle. Get a better look at it here. From the goalkeeper's perspective, you see Mena charging out. He tried to stand his ground once he saw the shot was going to come, but Hernandez just tucked it in to the right side, and it was a simple goal in the end, quadrupling the lead now for Nationals Union. Sporting not giving up quite yet, although it would be nearly impossible now. A check on the other field. It's now 3-0 in favor of Real Jersey FC as they lead El Camino FC. So if these score lines hold up, it would be Nationals Union against Real Jersey FC. Cole, back to Barnett. Van de Venner over to Isaka. Isaka into the box, but no further. Into touch along the far sideline. So it's been a really good year for Sporting BV. But unfortunately for them, it looks like they're going to come up a little bit short in this one. 2 games in a row now that they will have allowed 4 goals against National Union, losing 4-1 in the regional final and trailing 4-0 here. Barnett just kind of blindly stuck a leg out to that one. Kozar Lewis was in the vicinity. Not close enough for that to be a dangerous play, though. Through to midfield now. Here comes Nationals Union again, and just too much hook on that one. Arpakinda has to go back. Took out a big chunk of grass on the direction as well. Lobbing one over the top for City, but he was offside. Flag stays down now as the defender is allowed to get to it first. Now City put on the pressure as Sporting tries to get up here on the right wing. Sartino cuts through the middle. Kipruto was the intended target, didn't get quite there. Barnett can't handle it cleanly, and now City with a lot of speed. Coming back to pick it up is Zamir Asaka. City called for the foul. Free kick coming out, and it'll be a yellow card. '60th minute of play. 4-0 your score. 2 goals for Jaker City, 1 for Zach Koyumpa, and Devin Hernandez with the last one. Baker calling out orders. Visconti. Spun around by Van de Venner. Visconti making the run. Instead, they go left. Good step over move. Mukompo. Mukoma was dispossessed inside the 18-yard box. Mukoma makes the steal again. Kipruto. Saw it go under touch off the defender, though. So it'll stay in possession of Sporting. Sub coming in now for Nationals Union is Aiden Bariak will come back in. He's going to replace City. Substitution made. We'll get back to live action here in just a moment. So Nationals Union, to their credit, unless something rather spectacular happens at the end of this one, have not lost in quite some time. They went 5-0-0 in regionals. Didn't pick up a loss in group play here at the Nationals. Had a win and 2 draws. And they look like they are going to be victorious here in the semifinals as well. Richard Ludwig will come back in. '63rd minute. Just about to cross into Sporting in possession. Van de Venner. Back for Baker. Defenders coming, hand on the shoulder. Quickly back into play and quickly given away. That's been pretty much the way the day has gone for Sporting, wrapped up all in one play. Try to start quickly and it just doesn't seem to happen for them. Isaka. Barnett. Baker. Van de Venner. Bovey was closing him down. Barnett taking it himself. Gets a bit of a tug. Continues on. And now puts on the brakes. Mukoma. Kipruto. Too far. Rukoma looking for space. Man of Enter up the middle for Visconti. But again, just too hot to handle. Barnett's going to go all the way back. Baker. Left side. Capruto. Good little fake. Finds a bit of space now. Trying to put one in a dangerous area. Visconti and a big save. Lindsley on his toes on that play. That's difficult for any goalkeeper to come up with, but especially for one who hasn't been tested throughout this match. And then closing in on the end of this game, he's called into action and keeps the clean sheet so far. Sartino. And that one cleared out. 65th minute of play. Sporting with their best chance of the game. But again, just can't find the back of the net. It's been all Nationals Union here today. Flag went up. Offside. Substitute coming in, so that'll allow Sporting to push up a little bit further. Coming into the game is Jeremy Sharp. Center official hasn't had too much to do here today. It's been a relatively evenly played game in terms of the physicality. Both teams with a couple of hard fouls here or there, mostly just kind of jersey tugs and your usual chippiness throughout any contest. Visconti gets it over on the left side, looking for a space. Laid back. Baker. Lobbing one over the top, but again, really to no one. Laced up field by Miller. In no general direction. About 3.5 minutes before we hit the end of regulation. But with the amount of goals scored, you'd figure there'd be at least 1 or 2 minutes added on. Shouldered up front by Baker. Still 3-0 in favor of Real Jersey FC as they're in the 69th minute. Right side now for Cole. Erpekinda puts it up to Ludwig. Just lays it over the top, trying to run on is Bariak. He's got the speed to beat the defender. Back for the goalkeeper, difficult to handle for Mena. He has to put it right back here to the near side for Bovey. Tossed up front, running on is Laorden. Into touch, we'll have our subs come in. 3 now for Nationals Union. Back in is Hernandez, Ursidi, and Gruca. Out is Bariak, Bovey, and Miller. Just entered the 69th minute. We've received word that there's going to be at least 2 minutes of stoppage time added on to the end of this one. This flag goes up. Stoppage time over on the other field. They will also have 2 minutes, but they are already in stoppage time. We're still in regulation here. Kipruto to Van de Vetter. Isaka up the left, switching back to the middle. Got it on for Kipruto, but he took out the man in the process. So a strong season for Sporting is going to come to an end. Nationals Union are going to continue on. Still 30 seconds left in regulation. Barnett lobs it over. Switching the point of attack. A little too tall there for Leorden. And the other match is over. So Real Jersey FC have claimed their spot in the finals. The foul goes against Nationals Union, as they are basically just waiting the final whistle themselves to celebrate a chance in the national finals themselves. Free kick most likely going to be taken by Dalton Visconti. Nationals Union going to make a sub before they take the kick. As Bovey will re-enter the match if he's allowed. So Bovey will go in, Ursidias will be out. So Bovey goes in and joins the wall. Visconti going for goal, headed away. Had a decent track on it, but not necessarily enough power to really defeat the defenders. We're in the 72nd minute, so the whistle could come at any time now. Kipruto to Van de Vetter. On the left foot. Okoma, flag was up, offside. And there is the final whistle. Nationals Union have defeated Sporting Academy by the score of 4-0. They will face off against Real Jersey FC in the national championship game for the 14 and under age bracket. A really solid game start to finish for Nationals Union. A disappointing end for Sporting. The goals came early and often for Nationals. A 5th-minute goal for Jake Ursidy. Then doubled up Zach Hoyumpa with a 17th-minute goal. Ursidy again in the 46th. And then Hernandez finished things off in the 56th minute. That'll do it for our broadcast here this morning. We hope you enjoyed today's contest, brought to you by Turbo Sports Group. For everybody here, for our great camera crew, for Scott Cheney, and all our great crew under the tent, we thank you for watching. I'm Todd Panula. Have a good day, everyone.